and the Holy Spirit. In his book, The Heart Aroused, David White talks about a month of walking in the Nepalese Himalaya. And he describes walking with his companions on a path and reaching a point where two paths went in different directions. And he said, I'm taking the one less traveled on. He also knew that about 2 days later, the two trails would converge up the mountain. So initially, David says, he talks about the exhilaration of that path on his home, the incredibly clear air, the white caps of the mountains, the sense of solitude, and he's making his way, and on the second day, when he was alone, he said the path made a decided, sharp turn and came to a rock wall, and there was a gorge 400 feet deep. And spanning it used to be a bridge. The one there now was hanging by one cable. The other cable had snapped, and the rotten wood from the base of the bridge, all of those planks were hanging in midair. And David White talks about the sense of struggle inside of him. Sitting down on the side of the path, seemingly completely stopped in his journey. And then he says, well, he imagined backtracking, making his way around, and coming back up. He said, I'll never be able to catch up with my friends. And then he pictured himself like Indiana Jones, bounding across the cable. And he said his fear of heights would not allow him to do that. So discouraged and despondent, he sat down, looking down into the gorge for what seemed like a long time. And then, just down the way on the path he had walked, came the figure of a very old woman, hunched over, making her way along the same path to where he was sitting. It took her a long time. She had a huge basket on her back, and she was gathering things to build a fire. But she got to the plateau where David was sitting, and as soon as he saw her, her face broke out in this marvelous smile. And she bowed down at the waist and said, Namaste. He, of course, the traditional greeting, bowed to say, I greet the God in you, Namaste. And as he stood up, she was walking. She was making her way on the trail, right past him, to the edge of the bridge, and she danced across the cable, pausing, he said, long enough, mid-cable, to turn around and smile at him again. And he picked up his backpack, and he made his way across the bridge and continued his journey. And years later, he wrote, one day the hero sits down, afraid to take another step, and the old interior angel limps slowly in with her no-nonsense compassion and her old secret, and goes right ahead. Namaste, you say, and follow. Have you ever been stopped on the side of the pathway of life? Have you ever had that experience where it seems circumstances have combined in such a way to stop you dead in your tracks? Have you ever felt fear in moments like that? I have. I remember vividly in my life those times when I peered down into the gorge and thought there's no way forward. But thanks be to God, it is the gift of the Christian community that we have Christ figures around us all the time who, like the wonderful woman in the story, they help us make our way through those difficult times. They give us a vision of what it'll be like to walk ahead, even though it feels risky. They give us the creative energy to find our way when we think there is no way. I think of my friend, Ev Walk, who's here in the congregation this morning. And how many times I've called up Ev Walk to say I need to scale a mountain at Fort DeSoto.
And likewise.
And it is in walking and working through things that we find our way forward. And it is through the connection and community, the insight, the creativity, those gifts that people bring that can help us see past the impasse. And often I think about lifting our heads, how in those moments when we're on the side of the road, often our heads are down. And it is that Christ figure, that messenger, who helps us lift our eyes so we can see a new perspective on the bridge ahead of us. This week, as I thought about those times when I sat on the side of the road, I thought too of the words of Robert Seymour Bridges. You'll say, who's that? He wrote the hymn we just sang. And his words came back to me, all my hope on God is founded. He does still my trust renew. Me through change and chance he guided. Only good and only true. God unknown. He alone calls my heart to be his own. God calls our hearts to be God's own. And it is that call that helps us move ahead. It is that call of Christ saying, follow me, that leads us out beyond those places that feel risky and difficult to us. It is Christ, the light of the world, who says, follow me in those lands I'm going to take you to, with all the things you don't know, and trust in me to help you find that pathway. I am so grateful this morning for the words from Luke, where Jesus stands in the synagogue in Nazareth and says, really a mission statement for himself and for us. What does he say? He says, I've come to bring good news to the poor. I've come to set the captives free. I've come to bring recovery of sight to the blind, to let the oppressed find freedom, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor. It is our mission statement as a Christian community. Not to become a settlement on the side of the road. Not to settle in and say, oh, this is where we camp. But to always hear that call forward, out into the community. To know those people and form those partnerships that will help us carry out those 5 statements of mission. So I hold that up to you, the people of Holy Trinity today, that sense of mission always calling us forward, of Christ leading us into the unknown. And then today, my final sermon here, there's one other image I want to hold up from Paul.